Hey everyone, in this video we're gonna show you how to make snares, like Snares 101, using Serum, Addictive Drums and using both. So let's start with Serum. I'm gonna load up the simple sine waveform, which is gonna be a basis for our future snare. Here we are setting up ADSR for snare, attack, release and decay. So we just make it a really short hitting one, like a hitting sound, which is gonna be a body of our snare. And adding some noise to it. Let's put an LFO to modulate the noise. So this is very basic idea of how making snares. You can also experiment with different wave forms, with modulating, FM modulating of one waveform with each other, playing with different pitches, but we're gonna focus on making a basic one. So let's add second oscillator and bring a pitch up to create an attack on our snare. Now we are putting modulation on the level parameter and also on a pitch. We can try different wavetables to get that snappy attack sound. Let's try this one, playing with different octave. See how it works together. I think this is fine. Just bring up the volume a bit. And sharper envelope. Okay, I think it sounds fine. Let's close Serum for a while and resample the sound we got to a new channel. Okay, now let's make it a bit more distorted. I'm using Isotope Trash, but actually you can use any saturator or distortion soft clipper. So what I'm gonna basically do is to do a simple soft clipping to give our snare a bit of extra harmonics, make it punchier, louder. So now we're gonna use EQ8 just to cut low end. We don't need it, just to cut it around the frequencies which are hitting our snare, as you can see, the peak. So ultimately the body of our snare is done, and then in Serum you can play with different parameters around the noise, different modulations, waveforms, just up to your taste, up to what you're trying to make. There is endless variations, so be creative and try to get different sounds and see how it's going, see how you like them. Okay, now we are freezing the track again and sampling our snare. And let's make another one just on a higher tone to make that modern high pitch snare. Okay, this is cool. we freeze and resample it again, so we're gonna have another snare to work with. Okay, it's turn for Addictive Drums now. Here we go. Let's find some cool snare. Just up to your choice. So it's not necessary to be an Addictive Drums actually. You can use Easy Drummer, or you can use some samples. The idea is just to mix the synthetic drums with the sound of live drums to get that kind of like noisier type of snares. Okay, let's go with this one. So we go to settings, make a snare louder, switch off this response, we don't need it, and then the pitch. Okay, let's make the pitch higher. There is also an envelope parameters here, compression, EQing, so basically you don't even need Serum, you can make a snare just inside Addictive Drums. Okay, now let's EQ it, which is gonna cut everything in the low end, because this is gonna be like the higher part, the top of our snare. Again, process it with Isotope Trash to get that harmonics. Now let's try them together. So this is our snare, but we're gonna just EQ it a little bit. And probably we should use another sample we made from Serum. Yeah, this sounds much better, but still need to pitch it a little bit. So let's freeze it, and we're gonna use this sound for our first snare to layer it together with the Serum. And we're gonna work more with Addictive Drums to get a layer for our second snare. So let's check them together. That sound quite well. So let's try another snare, just pitch this one lower and just see which sound fits better. So basically we have our two snares done. For the first one, I'm gonna add some reverb to make a tail of a snare, and also add some reverb to the top of our snare as well. So let's just check some preset of small reverb and play around with it, see which one sounds better. Just a little bit of reverb, still too much. Let's lower decay time, decay rate. Yeah, sounds cool now. So what I'm gonna do next is to go back to Addictive Drums and make a tail for our snare. Okay, we have pretty cool tail here. So let's freeze the track and get our audio. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna use fades to just cut the intense part and just leave the tail of the sound we got and use it with our snare. Okay, now what is our snare missing is a strong attack. That's what it makes punchy. Let's go back to Addictive Drums and try to find some hit with a strong attack. Something like this one. And just change. Let's change the pitch envelope to make it even higher and like very short to have a strong hit. Let's pitch it a little bit up and just find a suitable sound like this one. And let's sample it and use as the last component of our snare. So as you see now, we need this part. So we just select and cut the rest, and also cut attack on the other parts of our snare, just to kind of make it work together. And we also can use this attack to our second snare. So pretty much same procedure. We using the fade, the attack on other sound, and check how it works together. You can pitch it a little bit if you need. So here is our first snare. Snare 1. And here you can go creative as much as you want on just processing them, using more distortion, but carefully just not to destroy attack, and also compress them. But to me now it sounds fine, and I'm gonna just use transient shaper to make it even punchier. I'm gonna use isotope alloy. So on this transient, we are just boosting a bit of attack to make it even punchier, as I said, and also cut low frequencies. We don't need them in a snare. And there's also glue all sounds together a bit, so it's kind of like a nice thing to do. And the last thing, I'm gonna add M Saturator by Melda. Awesome plugins. I'm gonna use it as soft clipper, or you can use any other soft clipper or limiter, just to cut peaks a little bit. And the same procedure on a second snare. Well, let's, instead of alloy, use glue compressor, the standard Ableton plugin. Gives us pretty much same effect, just to glue all sounds together, make them a bit punchier, and highlight the attack of the snare. So this is pretty much everything I wanted to show you today. I have two cool, nice snares. It's really not that complicated. You can experiment with different parameters, different wavetables. As I said, you try to add saturation, layer different sounds, be creative, and good luck in making snares.